rumble of the discourse. We've taken an abandoned concrete factory at the margins of the declining American empire and repurposed it into a battleground where 19 separate entities from across the political spectrum enter the discourse one by one and do battle to determine who controls the narrative force of the discourse. I hope you'll join me, your Southern Gothic futurist host, Dirk God Raven Mac, for each and every episode of Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. This is Dirk God Raven Mac. We are here at the abandoned concrete factory at the edge of the declining empire. This is week 5 of our fall 2022 series. You can see 27 competitors enter each week. You get points for eliminating people. There are bonus points for the final 4. And it's a 7-week series. We're in week 5. Next week will be our final regular week. And then the 7th week, the top 27 point getters will come back to crown the champion of the discourse for fall 2022. You can see where we stand right now. John Fetterman, is at the top of the list. Josh Hawley and the reply guy right behind him. President Biden, Donald Trump, the mom blogger who won last week. Biden and Trump, they're all tied in 13. So all these folks most likely going to be in that final. Well, they'll definitely be in that final week. And actually this week we can go to the ring. This week is election eve in America, folks. So we are the night before the election, and I can tell you that President Biden and Donald Trump are actually our referees in the ring here tonight. They will be sharing joint duty, and we will see what that means for folks. And our first competitor is the police state. So the police state is asserting itself. Election eve politics, two-party system pretty much. Third parties have been kind of strong-armed out of things. We're stuck on a binary. I find that disappointing personally. I would prefer more choices, especially when in the primary process, a lot of progressive choices that I would like tend to get primaried out in the Democratic Party, and then where I'm expected to support who they have. Well, here comes Big John Fetterman. You saw at the beginning of our show, he is at the top of the leaderboard right now. So he is, if it ended tonight, he would be the last man in on that 7th week. They will come in reverse order. Top 27 point getters. The top point getter will come in last. So there is a benefit to accumulating those points. Big John has got that 2x4. He is, of course, facing Dr. Oz in a hotly contested Pennsylvania Senate race. There's been a lot of talk about John Fetterman's health, physical ability. A lot of talk about Dr. Oz and whether he's actually a Pennsylvania resident. Politics, the discourse is not great, folks. And a lot of the people who are still invested in voting, there's a lot of people who don't care, who don't vote. We have very low voter turnout in America. And police state over the top rope there. Will he fall? He's hanging on, and it looks like he's going to keep himself in, although John Fetterman tries to kick him. And here comes Dr. Oz. Speaking of John Fetterman, this is his opponent in that Pennsylvania Senate race. And anyways, what I was saying is that people who are motivated and inspired to vote by both parties are inspired by fear, and third parties are squeezed out, and we're motivated by fear on both sides. And it does not feel like that robust a democracy to me. But hey, by all means, I suggest you vote if you feel it's important. Police state down. John Fetterman going for the pin, and actually pins the police state. So the police state is out. And we have Fetterman and Dr. Oz going at it, just the two of them right now. We're getting another buzzer. Let's see who's coming out now, folks. And it's Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott running for governor of Texas, current governor of Texas, actually. Greg Abbott facing a challenge from Beto O'Rourke. That will be a big test as well for how the binary is working with folks. I want to encourage you to vote if you believe in it. For me personally, I still vote. I don't believe in it, but I still vote every year. For me, it's a lot like I found out about Santa Claus at a young age, and I just, I played along at school. I didn't ruin it for anybody else. It didn't take a lot of effort for me to play along, and that's how voting is. I'm lucky enough to have the day off. I live within a mile of my polling precinct, so I can just walk up the road and do it during the day, and it doesn't take a lot of effort, so I still play along. Beto O'Rourke comes out, and while he was coming out, Greg Abbott tosses Dr. Oz. So obviously a little dissension between the Republican candidates there. So Beto O'Rourke joins John Fetterman and Greg Abbott in the ring now. And he immediately nails Greg Abbott with a briefcase. Beto, of course, the cool choice. Failed Senate run against Ted Cruz before, and he ran for president in 2022, didn't he? Yeah. Big John going for the pin on Beto, two Democratic heavyweights. And here comes Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, Florida governor, done a lot of things this year, sending Venezuelan immigrants, flying them from Texas to Massachusetts, even though he's the governor of Florida. But also Donald Trump talked trash about Ron DeSantis this past weekend. And DeSantis gets a quick pin on John Fetterman. So John Fetterman was no match for Ron DeSantis. He's got those white muck boots on that he loves to wear ever since the hurricane. Ron DeSantis eliminates John Fetterman, so we've got Beto O'Rourke and Greg Abbott going at it, but Ron DeSantis rolls up Beto. Beto kicks out at 2. And here comes another buzzer. And it's Kamala Harris. So Kamala Harris, the vice president, the alleged tiebreaker in the Senate. And, that's something that sort of trips me out too, is there's a pin attempt on Ron DeSantis by Greg Abbott, and he gets him. Trump was slow with the count, even though he had some words for Ron DeSantis this weekend. Very slow, but DeSantis gets counted out. We had a Democratic majority House of Representatives, allegedly Democratic majority with the tiebreaker of Kamala Harris, Senate, and Democratic president. And they really don't know how much of an accomplishment they've made with that. I'm not sure I remember in my lifetime where they controlled both houses of the Senate and then both chambers of Congress, and then also the presidency, and not really getting anything done. And here comes J.D. Vance, and Kamala Harris got tossed there. So J.D. Vance joins Beto O'Rourke and Greg Abbott. How will he interject himself in this Texas gubernatorial race? J.D. Vance goes right after Greg Abbott and drops him and gets the pin. So Greg Abbott is gone. So Beto O'Rourke and J.D. Vance. Of course, Trump likes J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance propped up by Peter Thiel's tech money. Tech money, of course, a big thing, and how some of these tech billionaires are engineering our democracy. And we're about to get another buzzer. And coming out now, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman from Georgia. Saw some clips where she was saying that if Republicans take over the branches of both chambers of Congress, that they are not sending any more money to Ukraine. I don't necessarily endorse war, but I also feel J.D. Vance over the top rope. Is he going to fall? He's staggering there. Beto O'Rourke going after Marjorie Taylor Greene, and J.D. Vance gets back in. I'm not really sure how I feel about, I don't know. America withdrawing from what it's already started in a lot of places seems like a backwards move as well. Interjecting itself in everything seems like a backwards move. Tucker Carlson coming out now. J.D. Vance has been busted open in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. He is a bloody mess in there. So a lot of folks have been talking about how this is, democracy at stake, and I would suggest if you feel that way, again, by all means vote, but also go get a late pass. Democracy has been in decline for some time now, and having ourselves bullied into only 2 choices does not feel like a robust democracy. And if you say it's because they're the only ones that have a chance to win, ultimately you could use the same thing for a one-party system and say, well, only the one party has a legitimate chance to win, so why should there be any others? Vance over the top rope again. Will he get knocked down? A tweet stormer comes out, and yes, J.D. Vance was eliminated. Bob, we're going to need some clarification on who did that. And Tweet Stormer taking some shots at J.D. Vance there. Tweet Stormer's been on quite a roll here ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter and been running it into the ground pretty quickly. The Tweet Stormer has been just going at it, man. He is upset about the fact anybody can pay for that blue check, and he is laying out tweets left and right. Tweet Stormer is just, he's been busy, folks. He's been busy. He nails Tucker Carlson with that 2x4. So to reset the field right now before we have a buzzer, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Beto O'Rourke is out there, the tweet stormer, and Tucker Carlson, and we get a buzzer, and Herschel Walker, Georgia senatorial candidate Herschel Walker, is out next. Multiple women coming out saying he's paid for abortions, yet he also says he's against abortion. And the tweet stormer pins Marjorie Taylor Greene, so MTG is gone. Marjorie Taylor Greene is gone, that CrossFit swinger. She is out of here. Herschel Walker getting a little grab on her there. I would not be surprised if they knew each other in an intimate fashion. Georgia politics. Herschel Walker went after President Biden, and Tucker Carlson and nailed him. Tweet stormer and Tucker Carlson double team Beto O'Rourke, and we got 2 pin attempts here. 2 kickouts. No, Tucker Carlson was actually pinned. Herschel Walker held that leg, and Tucker Carlson got counted out. Same time, Raphael Warnock comes out. That's Herschel Walker's opponent in this senatorial competition down in Georgia. And Warnock and Walker. Warnock going for a pin on Tweet Stormer. So Beto O'Rourke's been out there for a while. Good showing by Beto. Raphael Warnock gets him up, but can't hold him. Tweet Stormer back on Beto. Punch to Herschel's gut by Beto. Thrown into the corner. Tweet Stormer over there in the corner. Not sure what he's doing. Nice Russian leg takedown by Raphael Warnock, but then he's knocked over by Herschel, and he gets back in. We got a buzzer. And it's Stacey Abrams. Georgia politics is represented big time here tonight, folks. Stacey Abrams. She, of course, running for governor in Georgia, facing the guy Kemp that beat her last time, and questionable results then. But at this point, any result is going to be questionable. Whoever loses is going to question the results regardless. Again, it's not a robust democracy if anybody can say the results are not legitimate, and that's where we're headed, regardless of who wins tomorrow. And Tweet Stormer tossed. Sort of a team effort there. I'll have to see who gets credit for that, but the Tweet Stormer's tossing Herschel Walker over the top rope, and he rolls out. So we've got the field thinned down pretty quick, and here comes Ted Cruz. So Ted Cruz is going to join Raphael Warnock, Stacey Abrams, who are going at each other, and Beto O'Rourke, who he famously beat in that Senate campaign a couple years back. Cruz quickly going after Abrams, and Beto right on Ted Cruz. No love lost between those two folks. Trump gets that ladder in the way of Beto. Cruz and Beto kind of standing there looking at each other while Warnock and Abrams roll around on the floor. And now Biden and Trump are your co-referees here. Either one of them can count somebody out. And here comes Nancy Pelosi. You know she's got some things to say to Ted Cruz. Nancy Pelosi, whose husband was attacked with a hammer, an attack that people are making different stories about. Republicans claim it was someone let in. Republicans claim everything is a conspiracy except for the things that go their way, which are mandates of the people. Democrats don't really claim much of anything. They just sort of bumble around. Pelosi almost got that pin on Ted Cruz. Raphael Warnock knocked off that ladder, and he's holding his knee. Beto just takes down Pelosi. Democratic majority in there right now, folks, 4-1. And we got another buzzer, and it's the verified blue check. This verified blue check, and he has been very upset about the Elon Musk thing. The fact that now anybody can be a verified blue check apparently, and that's, talking about how he doesn't want to pay that money, but he probably will pay that money. Of course, he is an op-ed writer for multiple magazines and the New York Times. Likely somebody would cover that bill for him, but he is complaining about the integrity. And the thing that bothers me about folks complaining, Raphael Warnock drops Beto O'Rourke, and that's a pin. Raphael Warnock eliminates Beto O'Rourke. The thing that bugs me about these folks complaining about the blue checks with Elon Musk letting anybody buy it is a lot of the fascist influences on our discourse have already had blue checks for quite some time. Like, there's no real system of merit that allows for a verification process as it was. And here comes the do your own researcher. I was babbling to y'all while he came out. Do Your Own Researcher, of course, a podcaster, and he has been tweeting heavily about how he's looking forward to no longer being shadow banned, believing that his redundant and not unoriginal opinions are somehow shadow banned instead of just not being liked. And he's on that top rope, and the verified blue check takes him down. Bait on the top rope, and Biden kicks him out of there. And there's a pin on the Do Your Own Researcher kick out. Nancy Pelosi was eliminated. I think she must have submitted. I did not see what happened, but Nancy Pelosi is gone. And she is out of there. I was watching that. I missed who came out. Who came out, folks? Bob? Who am I missing here? Well, verified blue check gets tossed. So we got Raphael Warnock, Stacey Abrams still in there, the Do Your Own Researcher. Ted Cruz is still in there. And that's I can see now. Reply Guy comes out. Raphael Warnock comes in, or is eliminated, and I can see that, well, Do Your Own Researcher got tossed too. So I kind of lost control here, folks. Reply Guy is out here. Verified Blue Check 2 was the guy who came out when Nancy Pelosi got eliminated. So just reset the field. We got 4 folks in there right now. Stacey Abrams, candidate for governor in Georgia. Ted Cruz, senator from Texas. Verified Blue Check 2, and the Reply Guy. And the Reply Guy, of course, was on that leaderboard that I showed you at the beginning of the show. Nice move by Verified Blue Check 2 on Ted Cruz. And we're going to get a buzzer. I'm not sure how many folks we have left. Here comes Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan admitted late last week that the story about there being furries in school and a teacher having a litter box for furry children that the Republican Party just ran wild with has claimed as proof of grooming in schools and everything. Rogan admitted he made it up, wasn't real. So the interesting thing is that happened, a month ago, longer, and that became a talking point on the disinformation system, the right-wing podcast, radio, discourse, nonstop thing. And he just made it up. One guy just randomly made it up. So when the echo chamber boosts things like that, that's why we end up with what we have now. And here comes the Twitter communist, a voice of resistance. How will that voice survive Elon Musk takeover of, and Ted Cruz just falls off the ladder there. Twitter communist nailing Joe Rogan. How will the Twitter communist survive Elon Musk takeover? Joe Rogan swinging that chair. Stacey Abrams still out there doing well. Punch to the verified blue check by Joe Rogan. Biden knocked down. So Biden and Trump, 2 very old referees out there. Both of them will be in our final week. They've scored enough points. They should be in there. And here comes the critical thinking punk. This critical thinking punk, man, he's going to talk about Election Day and how he does not care for any of these parties and how he'll love to vote for libertarians, I guess. I don't know. Who does the critical thinking punk want to vote for? It seems like he doesn't want to vote. He seems to not like either party, though he also seems to want to piss off both parties. Just an angry man. Ladders breaking in there. We've got a mess of bodies. The discourse is just a clusterfuck right now. Night before Election Day in America. Tomorrow, polls open. They say be patient on those results. I would say that any results you get are going to be challenged. And here comes Steve Bannon. Ted Cruz is gone. Ted Cruz got pinned in there. Steve Bannon. So speaking of the discourse and engineering things and Cambridge Analytica and Facebook and how they engineered 2016, Steve Bannon was a big part of that, and he's still out there pulling strings and pushing buttons, baby. And just a strange looking man, by the way, to be so politically powerful. Like, it's just hard to believe. Well, I guess that's America for you. If you can attain great power even if you're a weird looking white dude. Rogan trying to clear house. Twitter communist gets a nice punch on him in there. We got 7 people in there right now. We get a buzzer. Now it's going to be 8. And Kanye West. Kanye West, I did not expect to see Kanye back out here, but here he is. Reinstated on Twitter by Elon Musk. Pretty strong anti-Semitic stuff, both he and Kyrie Irving, and both he and Kyrie Irving using defense that they can't be anti-Semites because they are Semitic people. Just, you know, proof that, and Kanye has said he doesn't read books, and he's mentioned that before, and I think that's one of the big problems with our disinformation mechanisms is people aren't reading news. They are consuming news visually, listening to things. There is a difference about reading when you read things, and you know, maybe I'm old, and here comes Elon Musk. Maybe I'm old, but the loss of newspapers as a daily source of information has been a big problem that we haven't really recovered from, because the internet is not designed for you to read. It's a visual thing. We don't really read the information anymore. We get told information. When you're being told something instead of reading something, you are taking on the bias of who's telling you. Verified Blue Check 2 pins the Twitter communist, so the Twitter communist is eliminated. Elon Musk out there on that Verified Blue Check 2. Of course, Elon Musk has famously been just a giant idiot the past week and shown as the wealthiest man on earth and being that stupid that the meritocracy is not real and just there is no benefit to being wealthy. Like, there's just, the guy is a complete fucking idiot, but doesn't know it. You know, of course he doesn't. He's surrounded by yes men, and you know, now with Twitter, he's tweaking things to his benefit, banning people that are mocking him. Some like AOC, Steve Bannon over the top rope in the far corner, Kanye going for a pin on Joe Rogan, and there's a pin on Reply Guy by Stacey Abrams. So Super Blue Check came out while I was talking to you about whatever I was talking to you about, Elon Musk, I guess. And we have 9 people out there. So let me reset the field because nobody else is coming out. We got Stacey Abrams still out there. She's been out there for a while. Verified Blue Check 2, who is bloodied up right now. The Reply Guy is out there. Joe Rogan, who's getting hit with a chair by the Reply Guy. The Critical Thinking Punk, Steve Bannon, is out there. Kanye West, Elon Musk, and Super Blue Check. So we got 9 folks out there. The top 4 will get bonus points this week, folks, as with every other week. So top 4 will get some bonus points. And it's a lot going on in there. Verified Blue Check is bleeding. Verified Blue Check 2, I'm sorry. And Super Blue Check. She's, of course, had a lot of words for Elon Musk. Elon Musk, speaking of which, he just got retired there. He had to submit to the hold. I believe that was Joe Rogan who had him in a submission hold. So Elon is out. And Reply Guy is out, pinned by Steve Bannon. So Elon got the next to last entry. Massaged the algorithm of entry into the discourse next to last and still eliminated with 7 people still in there. Rogan going for a pin on Super Blue Check. Stacey Abrams squeezing the Critical Thinking Punk in a bear hug, and now Super Blue Check and Stacey Abrams going at it. Rogan and Critical Thinking Punk double teaming Super Blue Check. Biden throws that football trophy Herschel Walker brought in the ring out of the ring. Bannon and Rogan tied up there briefly. Kanye's off to himself, and now he's going after Super Blue Check, or she went after him. Kanye actually going after Joe Rogan, I'm sorry. So again, election day tomorrow morning, polls open. Well, polls have been open for early voting, but polls will be open on election day tomorrow. If you have not voted, I encourage you to go ahead and take part in the theater. Steve Bannon looking bloody in there. Stacey Abrams is being pinned by Kanye West, and that's 3. She is out. She lasted a long time, folks. But she gets pinned, and Super Blue Check got tossed. I think that might have been the Critical Thinking Punk that tossed her. So our final 2 women competitors eliminated quickly there. Stacey Abrams and Super Blue Check. We are left with 4 folks in there. It's a Verified Blue Check 2. Steve Bannon, Critical Thinking Punk, Kanye West still out there, and Joe Rogan. Kanye West tried to climb the ropes and then just falls. So this is the discourse, folks. overrated rapper, verified blue check, an angry punk who is now an old angry libertarian. I'm not even sure how to describe Joe Rogan, just a stoner who thinks he's way more intelligent than he actually is. And Steve Bannon, pretty devious individual. Looks like President Trump got bloody in there somehow. I'm not sure how the referee got bloody, but he took a shot somewhere along the way and is looking bloody right now. Once the next person is eliminated, the final four will be in the bonus point zone. Rogan holding on to Kanye West, got a submission hold on him, and he gets him to submit too. So Kanye West submitted to Rogan. I believe it was Rogan who got Elon to submit too. Big night for Rogan. He's doing well in there tonight. And Kanye, angry, nails a verified blue check too. So we've got Rogan, Bannon, the critical thinking punk, and verified blue check too. Who am I going for here, folks? Well, I know I don't like Bannon. I know I don't like Rogan. That leaves the verified blue check 2 and the critical thinking punk, and I don't really like either of those, but I would be more likely to hang out with the critical thinking punk because, you know, we could watch like some old ECW wrestling or something and try not to talk about politics, or we would be able to find common ground on something, I'm sure. I'm not sure I could find common ground with the verified blue check 2, and I would just want to be honest, I would just want to shoot Joe Rogan in the eyeball. And Steve Bannon would never be seen near me. Although he used to shop at a bookstore only about 45 minutes from me in Stanton, Virginia. He very famously shopped at some bookstore people got mad about. Critical thinking punk kicks out at 1. Ladders breaking, and there's Rogan going on top of Bannon. Trump with the slow count, but that's a 3, even with the slow count. Bannon is eliminated by Rogan. Bannon does get 3 bonus points for finishing in 4th. And that verified blue check, too, has been out here for a while. Joe Rogan and the critical thinking punk. Week 5 of our fall 2022. And there's a pin attempt on Rogan after busting the ladder, and critical thinking punk takes him out. So we are down to the verified blue check 2 and the critical thinking punk. And this is our 5th week of our fall 2022 series. And what is Trump doing? He's up on top of that ladder. Rogan does a big suplex on the verified blue check number 2. But he flips the critical thinking punk, only gets a 1 count. And he can't even stand up when he gets thrown across the rope. Verified blue check 2 has taken some punishment. Critical thinking punk going at him. He's fighting back, though. Got a mic in his hand. They're both looking worse for wear. It's been a long Monday night of the Rumble of the Discourse. And there's a pin. Just a 1 count. And there's a big backbreaker. Devastating backbreaker on verified blue check 2 by the critical thinking punk, and he just a spine breaker too. He's beating on this verified blue check, taking a lot of his anger and hostility out. Tries to whip him, but then the verified blue check catches him in a headlock, but then gets caught in a spine breaker again, and that's a 2 count, and that's a 3. Shocker here in week 5, folks. The critical thinking punk has won this thing. He has outlasted the field, so in a field full of candidates actually running tomorrow morning, that verified blue check, verified blue check 2 was eliminated. That critical thinking punk does it. Let's see the replay. He gets him in that spine breaker, and this is after a couple of other moves, and he nails him. And then he goes to 1, 2, 3. There you have it. So our results tonight, you can see the critical thinking punk at the top with 13 points. Verified blue check 2 got 8. Joe Rogan with 7. Steve Bannon with 4. Raphael Warnock with 3. And others with a bunch of others with only 2 points. And then our Standings after 5 events, John Fetterman got a 1-point lead at the top of the board. Critical Thinking Punk right behind him now. Josh Hawley and Reply Guy, Biden, Trump, the Mom Blogger, Ted Cruz, Dr. Oz, Steve Bannon up there now, and Bernie Sanders still on that leaderboard. So we've got one more event next week, folks. We will come back for one more event where these folks accumulate points. As always, this project is sponsored by my Southern Gothic Futurist Patreon. I highly encourage you to check that out. Get in there, support that thing. I do a lot of different things. I'm doing a World Cup preview right now. I do a lot of different things. I can't even really explain it as the entirety of me, Dirt God Raven Mac. But this has been week 5 of the Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. We will be back with week 6 next week, post-election Rumble of the Discourse. We will see where we stand, who won, if the results have been called, what has happened. And then that 7th week, 2 weeks from tonight, will be where we crown the champion of the fall 2022 Discourse. I hope to see you back here next week and the week after. And until then, salam.